Well, they are some of the newest and most desirable properties in Sacramento, but they haven't always been that way. They're called Brownfields sites. And as Common Ground's Dave Manicherry tells us, these areas, once considered toxic, got some help from an EPA grant that may be in danger of going away.
It certainly doesn't look here like you're in the middle of the city. The Fremont Community Garden is a jewel in the heart of Midtown, but for nearly 30 years, that jewel was tarnished.
It was pretty rough, very overgrown.
Gary Conover remembers what this property used to be. It was a blight on the area and contaminated with lead and pesticides.
The construction and as well as the cleanup, removing soil was the biggest cost.
The Fremont Community Garden is one of what the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency calls a brownfields site. And since 1990, the EPA has been giving grants to cities like Sacramento to clean them up.
And I believe the city has received approximately $2 million over the course of the Brownfields program that we've been able to reinvest in the community.
Denise Malvetti is with the City of Sacramento's Economic Development Department. They give out the Brownfields money through grants and loans.
The leverage on these funds, it's huge. So for a small grant, we can really turn that into large development projects, $40 million development projects, $50 million development projects.
Projects like the Fremont Community Garden, the R Street Artist Lofts, the forthcoming Powerhouse Science Center, and the Aviva Apartments.
We were able to test the site using EPA funds, and then we got a $200,000 Brownfields cleanup grant from the US EPA.
Mark De La Verne with CADA, the Capital Area Development Authority, says Aviva is only 3 renters away from being full, and it only opened in October.
This project here had some lead contamination on the site and some petroleum-based contamination.
Contamination was so bad they got a Brownfields grant to remove soil filled with lead and petroleum before they began construction. Without that Brownfields money, sites like the Warehouse Artist Lofts here on R Street may not even exist. It cost over $1 million to do the environmental cleanup here. But now under the current federal budget proposal, that money's in danger of being cut. Sacramento has gotten another Brownfields grant to search and find contaminated sites, and it doesn't come too soon. Under President Trump's budget proposal, the EPA would see drastic budget cuts. The Brownfields program would be hit hard, with nearly 45% cut from its budget, from $404 million to $221 million.
We certainly are concerned about the proposed cuts to the EPA and the Brownfields program. We've seen the successes of the program here in Sacramento, and it's a critical tool that we have to help revitalize our community.
But for the EPA funding for the Warehouse Artist Lofts project, really we would not have been able to proceed with that project.
As for Gary Conover, he wasn't really certain about using tax dollars to make the Fremont Community Garden.
Well, honestly, I questioned it.
But meeting neighbors and seeing the benefits changed his mind quickly.
Several years later now, I think it's a great opportunity for the neighborhood. Visually, it's great. It's been great for everybody.
In Sacramento, Dave Manicherry for Common Ground.
The newest Brownfields grant is for the northeast portion of the city. It looks for sites that could be rebuilt to revitalize that area. Denise Malvetti says even if the budget is cut, they'll continue to apply for the grants and hopes that the EPA sees how successful they've been here in Sacramento.